Let me paint you a picture. She does something, says something, ignores you, disrespects you, pushes a button she knows is a button. You react. Maybe you raise your voice. Maybe you say something back. Maybe you get emotional. And then, suddenly, the original thing she did no longer exists. It's gone, King. Now the only thing happening is your reaction. Now you're the problem. Now you're aggressive. Now you're too sensitive. Now you're the toxic one. And somehow, you end up apologizing for reacting to something that she did. This is not a coincidence. This is not a communication issue. This is not just how she is. This is a tactic, King. It has a name. And once I explain it to you fully, King, you will never be trapped by it again. So let's get into it. What's good, Kings? Welcome back to BroBreakThrough. And today we're talking about something that affects men in relationships, in friendships, in families, in workplaces, anywhere where there's a person who consistently pushes you and then blame you for finally pushing back. This video has 3 goals. 1, name what's actually happening to you so that you stop thinking you're crazy. 2, explain why you keep reacting so you stop beating yourself up about it. 3, give you the real honest solution, which is not managing them better, but removing them. If someone in your life immediately came to your mind after I said all of that, then stay. Because King, this video is for you. Part 1, what reactive abuse really is. Let's start with the definition. Reactive abuse is when someone deliberately provokes you through criticism, mockery, silent treatment, gaslighting, boundary violations, until you react with frustration, anger, or emotion. And then they use your reaction as evidence against you that you are the abuser or abusive. You are unstable. You are the problem. It flips the narrative completely. And suddenly, the thing they did is buried under the thing that you did. And then you spend the rest of the conversation defending your actions instead of addressing theirs. Let me be clear about something. This is not always conscious and calculated, King. Some people do this deliberately. Some people do it out of deeply ingrained patterns that they developed in their own traumas. But the intent doesn't matter for our purpose because the effect is the same. You are provoked, you react, you become a villain in a story that started with their actions. Because your reaction is real. You did raise your voice. You did say something sharp. You did get emotional. So when they point at your reaction, King, there's evidence. Actual, observable evidence. Meanwhile, their provocation, subtle, deniable, just a joke. I was just asking a question. You're so sensitive. I didn't do anything. You're thinking too much into it. Your reaction is loud, King. Their provocation is quiet. And in the court of public opinion, and in your head, the loud thing looks guilty. That's the trap. And it's a very effective one. So let's talk about the specific way that they do it. Let me show you exactly how this looks. Because the provocation isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's surgical. Not a full insult, just a comment, just a tone, just a look. Must be nice to be so confident all the time. Oh, you actually remembered. That's impressive. I just didn't think you handled it well. Those are small, deniable, but it lands. It was designed to land. You react, and suddenly you're way too sensitive, and you can't take a joke. The comparison. My ex never made a big deal about this. Other men don't act like this. Even your boys think you're too much sometimes. It's designed to make you feel fundamentally defective, uniquely flawed, like the problem is you. You react, and now you're insecure, King. The timed provocation, this one is deliberate. They bring things up right before you have somewhere to be. Right before bed, right when you're already stressed, when your emotional regulation is at its lowest. That's when they strike. Because a tired, rushed, stressed man is easier to provoke than a rested, grounded one. You react, and of course you overreacted because you were already tense. The public humiliation, the comment made in front of friends, the joke at your expense at a family gathering or a friendly gathering, the eye roll when you speak, small enough that calling it out makes you look like you can't take a joke, but large enough that it stings every time. You say something, and now you're embarrassing them. You're making a scene. The silent treatment. They withdraw completely, stonewalling for hours, for days, until the anxiety and discomfort build to where you have to react, until you're the one chasing, until you're the one apologizing for something that you're not even sure you did. They never said a word, but they pushed you into reaction purely off of absence. The accusation disguised as a question. Why do you always do this? Is this really how you want to be? Don't you think that's a bit much? Not a statement, a question, so they can respond with, I was just asking. But the question was weaponized, and you both know it. You react, and she'll respond. You can't handle simple questions. You must be hiding something. So why do you keep reacting? Why do you keep falling for it? If you can see the pattern, why can't you just stop reacting? This is the part no one explains, but this is the part that will stop you from blaming yourself. Your nervous system is responding correctly. When someone violates your boundaries, when someone disrespects you, your nervous system is supposed to respond. Anger, frustration, emotional escalation. These are not character flaws, King. These are your body's built-in responses to being treated wrong. And a person with healthy boundaries should always react when those boundaries are crossed. The problem isn't that you reacted. The problem is that you're in an environment that is designed to make your healthy reactions look dysfunctional. It's called the jade trap. Justify, argue, defend, explain. When they provoke you, your instinct is jade. To justify why you feel what you feel, to argue that your reaction was reasonable, to defend yourself from their accusation, to explain your perspective so they understand. And here's the brutal truth, King. Jade would never work with a person like this because they're not confused. They're not misunderstanding you. They don't need any more information. They are not engaging in good faith, King. So every time you jade, you give them more material, more things to pick apart, more reactions to use against you, more evidence that you're the unstable one. Jade rewards the tactics every single time. So why do you jade anyway? Because at your core, you believe that if you just explain well enough, they'll understand. They'll see your side. They'll acknowledge what they did. And that belief, that reasonable people will respond to reason, is a good belief. You should have that belief in most situations. It's correct, but you are not in most situations. You are with a person for whom that belief is being exploited. The repetition compulsion. Every time you fail to get resolution, every time the conversation ends with you still being the bad guy, your brain files it as unfinished. And it keeps trying, keeps engaging, keeps attempting to get acknowledgement that never comes. And you're not weak for doing this, King. You're human. And humans need resolution. The problem is, resolution is never coming. Not from this person. Not in this dynamic. And the sooner you accept that, is the sooner you'll stop pouring energy into a machine that's running on your frustration. So why do they need your reaction, King? And here's the part that changed everything for me. They need your reaction. Not want, need. Your reaction serves a purpose for them. Purpose 1, it proves a story. Some people need to be the victim in life. Their identity is built around it. Their social circle is maintained by it. He gets so angry. I don't know what I did. He just loses it sometimes. Your reaction is the evidence that makes their story true. Without your reaction, there's no story, there's no victim, there's no supply. Purpose 2, it transfers responsibility. As long as your actions is the topic, their behavior is never examined. Your reaction is the perfect distraction every single time. Purpose 3, it confirms their worldview. Some people genuinely believe that everyone around them is volatile, unreliable, and dangerous. Your reaction, which they manufacture, confirms what they already believe about you, about men, about the world. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that they orchestrated unconsciously. So here's what that means for you. The answer is not to react less. The answer is not to explain better. The answer is not to be more patient. The answer is to remove the audience. If they need your reaction and you stop providing it, not by suppressing it, but by not being there, the tactic has no target. You cannot provoke someone who is no longer in the room, King. The real solution? Complete, unapologetic removal. Not management, not distance, not setting better boundaries. Removal. Because here's the truth, King. You cannot manage your way out of a dynamic that is designed to make you look unmanageable. You cannot out-calm someone who profits out of your frustration or agitation. You cannot communicate your way to resolution with someone who wants no solution. So the only winning move is to leave the game. If it's a romantic relationship, this is the hardest one, King, so listen to me. Because the attachment is real. The history is real. The love, whatever was left of it, is real. But love is not, and I repeat, love is not a reason to stay in a dynamic that consistently makes you the villain in your own life. You know what to do. You've known for a while. The question is when. And the answer is the sooner, the better for both of you. If it's a friendship, let it fade. You don't owe a dramatic exit. You don't owe an explanation. Slow fade, less available, less responsive, less present, until the friendship naturally recedes. But if it's a family member, this is the most complicated one, because removal isn't always fully possible, but limited exposure is. Controlled environments are. Refusing to jade is. You cannot always remove a family member from your life completely, but you can remove them from your emotional inner circle. You can stop giving them access to parts of you that they use as ammunition. And if it's a coworker, document everything, limit one-on-one interactions, keep communication professional and written. HR exists for a reason. Across all of them, when they try to provoke you, go quiet, not cold, not dramatic, not punishing, just quiet. I'm not going to discuss this right now. Then don't. No jade, no explanation, no defense. Quiet. And watch how quickly the person who said you were too emotional escalates when you give them nothing, because your calm is the most threatening thing you can offer someone who runs on your reaction. You are not too sensitive. You are not too emotional. You are not the problem for reacting to a problem. You were put in an environment designed to make your healthy reactions look dysfunctional. And the fact that it worked for as long as it did doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're human. It means you kept trying to resolve something with the person who had no intentions on resolving it. That's not weakness. That's loyalty being exploited. But now you know. Now you know the name. Now you know the tactic. Now you know your reaction was manufactured, not proof of who you are. And knowing that changes everything. Because a man who knows the game cannot be played by the game. Not anymore. That's you, King. As of right now, that's you. You know the game. If you recognize yourself somewhere in this video, drop a target emoji in the comments. No name, no story, just the target. So the next man seeing this knows he's not the only one who's been there. And if this hit, share it. Your boy who keeps apologizing when you know he has nothing to apologize for. Send him this video. That might be the most important thing you do for someone this week. Subscribe Tuesday and Friday, every week, new content, new stuff. Real talk, no fluff. I'll see you in the next one. But until then, King, crown up. Welcome to the game.